Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. We're shifting gears and heading to college bowl action. Monday, December 26th, we're going to take a look at the Independence Bowl. We've got Vanderbilt and NC State. Guys, when we break down bowl games, we're always looking for motivation. Well, both of these teams enter at 6-6. Both teams had to win their final game to get here to be bowl eligible, and both won as underdogs against, arch rivals. So momentum definitely on both sides there, so no edge there. So, Ralph, I'm going to kick it to you. Looking at these two teams, Vanderbilt, in the last couple of years, their MO has been great defense, no offense. But all of a sudden, the last 2 weeks of the season, they put up a bushel of points. Is that, what we can expect here, or was it just the end of the season and playing two teams that might have packed it in and had higher expectations?
Well, three teams. They started, the 10th game of the year was against Missouri, Ole Miss, and then Tennessee. They averaged 500 yards per game in those three games. The difference was their rush attack. You looked at Tennessee and Mississippi, the games were close at the half. Second half, the offensive line dominated, and the running backs got a lot of yards overland. Vandy's used to being a dog. Vandy was a dog in all 9 games against FBS foes this year, against conference Power 5 teams. They went 6-3 ATS in that role. They pulled 4 upsets to get to their 6 wins in the bowls. Vandy does the things right. They're number 1 in the country in red zone defense. They're number 2 in the country in red zone offense. So you get your yards between the 20s, you get down there, Vanderbilt's going to stop you. Vanderbilt doesn't get in the red zone as often, but when they do get down, they score. It gives them that fundamental, lot of close games. But again, when you're a dog, that's all you need.
Brian, with this one, the first thing that, caught my attention, and I think it'll catch the attention of a lot of the average bettors, they're going to see an SEC team as an underdog versus an ACC team. And, the perception in the country is, the SEC is, the premier conference in college football, and most years it is. I don't think it was this year, and I think that we're going to see when they match up in some of these bowl games that the SEC is going to get exposed. Were you surprised at this number?
Not really. I made it roughly the same type of number. But from the SEC standpoint, you have the best team in the country, and then you have a major drop-off after that. So it's not that the SEC teams are not good. They're just not the elite level, the top, which they'd been in years past. The middle, actually, and the bottom is better this year. The Vandys are better, and you find the teams down at the bottom are a little bit better. I'd like this Vandy team, and Ralph mentioned the game against Missouri. I watched that game, and every bad thing that could happen to them happened in that game. There's bad calls, lucky catches, that kind of thing. But that forced them to go more up-tempo because they fell behind early. And I think they gained a lot of confidence because they were moving the ball all over the place. And I think because of that, that's one of the reasons why, as the season has gone on, they've gotten more confidence in the offense. Normally, when you have a defense like they do, you play not to lose the game. But as the season went on, they were getting better and better offensively, and I expect more of that here.
Now, they are going to be facing an NC State team that was ranked number 4 in the country at stopping the run. If you take the run away from Vanderbilt and make them one-dimensional, I don't know that just Vanderbilt offense can move the ball down the field. NC State was a team that was a mystery all year. They would show up and play a game like they did at Clemson, where they should have won the game. They miss a chip shot field goal, and then they come back and get their doors blown off the next week. They've been up and down all year, but it impressed me that at the end of the season, they did go to North Carolina. Yes, it's a rivalry game, and we always talk about, you throw the stat books out in the rivalry games, but they did deliver there. And Vanderbilt, even with those last 3 games, as much as yardage and stuff, points that they put up, they still were the 108th ranked offense in yards per game at 359. So I'm just not sure that Vanderbilt, coming off the big Tennessee win, can get the job done here. I'm leaning a little bit to NC State minus the points because I just don't trust the SEC. I think too many people are going to look at this win and see a power dog. You guys, what are you looking at?
Just to expand on what you said about SEC dogs against ACC teams, SEC teams are 12-3 against the spread when they're getting 3 or more against the ACC. So that just puts some perspective to your number. While I agree with you that the SEC is down a little bit, I also agree that, you know, when you look at the SEC conferences, when your worst teams are Mississippi State and A&M, all of a sudden you still are perhaps the best conference in football. So, you know what? NC State's win against North Carolina saved Dave Doran's job. So I think there is a little different motivation here. I think Vandy's taking the next step. NC State was about to make a change, and we'll see what happens depending on this bowl. But I think Vandy's the up-and-coming team. And this might surprise people, but NC State actually has the better defense. You gave some number with yards, and sometimes those are misleading because you don't play very many rush teams in the ACC unless you're facing Georgia Tech. So I like Vandy. I think it's going to be a close, low-scoring game. They are fundamentally sound, and I'll back the SEC dog in this one.
Yeah, I like the Vandy too. I think you could throw those stats about their offense out the window because as the season went on, they didn't have that confidence. The defense, they were playing with that defense. Mm-hmm. Don't turn the ball over. Let the defense win the game. They're a better team now than they were earlier, so I'm not too concerned about that stat.
All right, well, there you have it. You got 2 leans to Vanderbilt, 1 lean to NC State. And, guys, don't forget, you can save $10 this weekend. It's Christmas week, so we got to bring a coupon code, and we're bringing Santa to town. Santa in the number 10, that'll get you $10 off a package this weekend at wagertalk.com. Check it out. We'll be back with more. We'll have best bets from Brian and Ralph up next at wagertalk.com.